guys, I'm Laurie Vitale, and on this episode of Laurie in the Kitchen, I wanted to share with you a chocolate pecan pie. Now, I've made a traditional pecan pie here a couple years ago, but truth be told, it is one of my all-time favorite holiday desserts. So, and you know me, I might be addicted to chocolate, so I had to add some in, and I wanted to share this version with you because it is just as easy as a regular pecan pie. It's just a touch more special with the added chocolate because, I mean, why wouldn't we add chocolate if we can? Am I right or am I right? Now, let me take you over the ingredients so we can get started. You'll need some all-purpose flour and a pinch of salt. I have some cold shortening and some unsalted butter, some water, eggs, some chopped pecans. I have a mixture of brown sugar and granulated sugar, light corn syrup, vanilla extract, unsalted butter, semi-sweet chocolate chips, cornstarch, and a pinch of salt. And those are your ingredients. They're really basic and really easy to find ingredients, and it is gonna make like the best pie. Now, the first thing I'm gonna work on is actually the crust because the dough needs to stay in the fridge for about 45 minutes. So I kind of want to get that out of the way, and I'm gonna make mine in my food processor so it's really easy. I'm gonna add my dry ingredients. Now, this pie is really a great pie to make for the holidays. I just love it, and it's great for Thanksgiving. And the holidays in general, such a great time to gather with your family and reconnect, throw some really good parties, make some good food. And if you are planning on having a holiday get-together, make sure you stock up on your baking basics like eggs, flour, and sugar so that you are always prepared. Now, I'm gonna add my cold fats, and you want to make sure your fat is nice and cold so that you get that really flaky, delicious pie crust. I'm going to add that right in with the help of my spatula, and I'm just going to pulse these together until the butter and shortening are mixed throughout the dry ingredients. Now I'm going to start streaming in some water, and just like it's really important for the butter and shortening to be really cold, it's just as important for your water to be really cold as well. And I'm just going to drizzle in between 3 to 5 tablespoons around that ballpark, or until my dough kind of comes together, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's there. So I just do it while pulsing so I don't over mix. Perfect. You can see it's kind of crumbly, but when you pinch it together, it holds really well. That is what I'm talking about. Now, what I'm going to do is I am going to form my dough into a disc, wrap it with some plastic wrap, pop it in the fridge for about 45 minutes, and then we are going to be able to roll this out and fill it with our delicious chocolatey pecan mixture. My crust was in the fridge for about 45 minutes, and I took it out, and then I'm rolling it. Now, just a quick tip is allow your crust to come to room temperature for about 5 minutes or so before you start rolling it out. And if it tears, just put it back together, warm it with your hands, and then re-roll it. It's that simple. I have a 9-inch pie dish here. I also have a baking sheet that I've lined with some aluminum foil because if there's any spillage, the aluminum foil will catch it and you won't get it all over your oven or your baking sheet. Now that I've rolled out my pie crust, I just like to kind of gather it back up on my rolling pin. That way it makes it moving over here that much easier. See? I'm like a magician in the kitchen. Look at that. And then just gently press it in. And if you find that you have bigger pieces on one side and not enough here, it's as easy as just tearing a little spot, pressing it down a little bit, and then just pinching it just like so. It doesn't have to be perfect because this pie is so good, so delicious. No one's gonna judge you for your like pie rolling skills. Just make sure that it's all an even layer so that you don't have any pieces that are thicker and then thinner. You just want to make sure it's all even so that it bakes evenly. Just gonna press this in, and then if it's a little bit of overhanging, like over here for example, I just kind of tuck it like so. If it's too much, like this, I just tear it and then wait to see if I need it elsewhere. And that's it. I've got my pie crust ready, just gave it a light little crimp, and I also took my pecans and scattered them in the bottom of my pie crust. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to scatter my chocolate chips over that as well. And now I like to use semi-sweet chocolate chips versus a milk chocolate chip simply because the custard is quite sweet and I want the chocolate to just stand out a little bit. So I think the semi-sweet works a little better. But The world is your pickle. Use whatever chocolate you like. I'm going to set that aside and work on my custard, which is really, really easy. I need a few eggs, and eggs are going to be the binder that kind of holds everything together. And eggs, as we know, are so versatile. I mean, from breakfast dishes to cookies to eggnog to pies. It runs through my holiday cooking like you would not believe, and they're really inexpensive. So make sure you pick up an extra carton to have on hand. Now, to my eggs, which I need 3 of. Last one. I'm going to add my light corn syrup, and tip, make sure that you spray your measuring cup with a little bit of nonstick spray before you add your corn syrup, because it makes it so that it just runs right out. And that's a good tip to use whenever you're using any kind of thick syrup like a honey, corn syrup, molasses, maple syrup, anything like that. Then I want a nice drop of vanilla extract, my unsalted butter that I've melted, and then I'm going to add my cornstarch and my salt. And last but not least are my 2 kinds of sugar. Now I'm just going to switch to a whisk and mix everything together to combine. Make sure you whisk this until it's really nice and smooth. Now, this recipe calls for 3 eggs, and if you're looking for a way to use up any extra eggs, make sure you check out my website for lots of cookie recipes. You can also check out the recipe section on incredibleegg.org for a lot of recipes that include eggs. I really think you'll enjoy what they have to offer. Okay, this is looking pretty magnificent if you ask me. Excellent. I'm going to set this aside. I'm going to bring my pie close to me. And I'm going to pour this gorgeousness over the top of the chocolate chips and the pecans. Make sure you get every single bit of that custard out. Excellent. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lightly cover this with some of my aluminum foil, not too hard because I don't want to mess up any of those edges that we crimped. Pop this into the oven, covered for 30 minutes, then remove the foil and allow it to bake for an additional 25 to 30 minutes or until the center is no longer like jiggly. And then you're going to let it cool, and then we'll be able to cut and serve. My pie was in the oven for 30 minutes with the foil on, and then I took the foil off and I continued to let it bake for another 30 minutes or so, and it is perfect. It's set, but it's just, I can press it down with my finger a little tiny bit and I can tell that it's a little soft. You don't want it to be rock hard, otherwise it's going to kind of be very difficult to cut into it. The crust is a beautiful golden brown. Mouth is salivating. It's talking to me. I need to get into this. I am so excited about it. You have no idea. I'm going to slice myself a nice piece. Oh, it's so gorgeous. And if you could smell this, as it was baking, the kitchen was just smelling better and better and better. I just can't even describe. Oh, the gooiness. I just can't. I just can't even take it. I don't know what to do with myself. And look, that batter just, the custard holds so beautifully. Nothing's running out anywhere. It's gooey, it's ooey, it's delicious looking, and I know it's going to be delicious tasting. Look at that chocolate. Can we just take a second here? There are no words. It is so good. It is just the epitome of perfection, of all things good in the world. It's nutty, it's chewy, it's chocolatey. That crust is delightfully flaky. Make sure you let this cool like I did before you slice it, otherwise the filling will run out. It needs a chance to sort of set as it cools. It is perfection. Go to laurainthekitchen.com to get this recipe along with tons of other sweet treats that are perfect for the holiday season. Remake this, share a picture on social media. I would love, love, love to get your thoughts on it. It is calling my name, so I'm going to go back to eating. Hope you enjoy spending time with me, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.